right, everybody, we're back from More Modern. We switched some seats, we switched some names, but we're going to be looking at more of the same, or actually, these decks are different than what we showed previously. What do we have lined up for this round 4?
All right, we have a player all the way from Sicily, part of the Italy country. So I have, of course, I pushed a little bit for this matchup to happen.
Oh, you're biased?
No, I just called him because, he went all the way from Sicily to here. So I'm like, let's call him up.
For sure.
Nazareno, he's playing Black-White Grief Ephemerate.
Okay.
A deck that was super hyped when Grief came out. And, he's Grief's definitely a popular card. We see on the other deck as well.
Yeah, so what I have here on the paper is Living End deck list. So Living End is like, I don't know, like the boogeyman of the format. Whoever you ask is like, oh yeah, Living End, that's just so hard. Like game 1, you need to win 2 sideboarded games. This deck is so strong. But I think just the whole dynamic of a graveyard deck being one of the best decks is also easy to prepare for. So I'm very curious what the Italian player brought in his sideboard to, like, let's say, even the scores after sideboard.
Yeah, he even has some powerful card in the main deck, that's Lion Sash, that you can tutor up with Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
Although, of course, all of this is super slow, and
that's true.
The Living End deck just doesn't give you enough time to go Lion Sash and start
So I see a couple of copies of Persist.
Yeah, because what you do is you grief your opponent, and then either you blink it with Undying Evil, Molecular Rebirth, or things like that, or you can also just reanimate it with a Persist.
Right, so you go for like the unmask mode and then just reanimate it, so you get to pick 2 good cards, and then you have a
or you
2-1, is that it? Does it?
Yeah, 2-1, 2-1 minus. Or you go for a Stoneforge Mystic for Kaldra, your opponent kills it, and then you bring back the Stoneforge Mystic.
Right, so it's just serviceable in a world of Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push as well, But yeah, as you say, Lion Sash, that's the main deck interaction. I always call it the white scavenging ooze.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you can tutor that up with Stoneforge.
Yeah, that's
all right.
That's very
looks like the players are ready, so we can go down to see Nazareno versus a lot of tattoos from Philip over there.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, let's see Living End versus Black-White.
Ooh, we're starting. Who's the Grief player?
I saw Living End getting pitched, and then a lot of fancy artwork.
Okay,
here.
that's Turak on the left. And then we have Molecular Rebirth, Solitude, and Sword of Fire and Ice.
Wow, I think I could have named maybe the Solitude if I was here on my own. Oh, maybe the Black Blink, the Malakir as well.
Yeah, that's, playing Magic for 12 hours a day. That's,
I was about to say, that's very important. Yeah,
that's, all the cards and the weird arts.
Definitely.
All right, so, yeah, Grief pitching Living End. That's like, Living End is such a good deck. It used to be that if you draw Living End, it's just a dead draw.
Oh yeah, back in the old days.
But now with Grief, you can find a way to do something with your Grief.
Definitely. So does that mean that every Living End list is up to 4? 4 Living Ends now?
You play usually a 4th copy in the sideboard against Blue Red Murktide.
Okay.
What does Philip do?
I'll try and he actually plays the full 4 in the main deck.
4 in the main deck. Yeah, that's also up.
I had a friend of mine who played the deck a lot, and he said it comes up like sometimes where he wished he had the 4th. Yeah. And as you say, mainly against counterspells.
Yeah. A lot of lands for Philip though.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at the hand, but.
Ooh. Oh wow, Nazareno has a custom sleeve. Look at that. His name is on his sleeves.
That's pretty.
That's a lot of dedication for your own brand.
It really is. So just invest in yourself. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Silent Clearing, Godless Shrine, so perfect mana base.
Yeah, nothing going on over here. Just a Turak that he didn't want to cast for 2 mana.
Okay.
Although I've seen Turak actually pretty relevant against the Grief deck. As against the cycling deck, as they cycle and the Turak gets bigger.
Exactly. I think we even talked about it in previous rounds. So here is not the best Living End, but not the worst either, because he will get is it 5/5 hexproof?
A 5/5 hexproof and the Grief.
And the Grief back.
Which is,
to pick the best card in Nazareno's hand.
Nazareno now what can do is he can Solitude pitch a white card. So that the Solitude that's what it's doing. It's pitching a Spirited Companion.
Solitude.
And the Solitude stays in the graveyard and now comes back, so it's able to exile the Grief.
Right.
But still, Grief will discard the best card out of Nazareno hand. And that is an Ephemerate. Maybe he's playing the Ephemerate in response. Let's see.
Huh. his.
Interesting because the
Wait a minute here. Is the Charlotte's Agent even in play?
Charlotte's Agent shouldn't be in play. We have a judge at the table.
Okay.
So
So we're hoping for the best here. Maybe you should try and. So if we're right here, the Charlotte's Agent would still be on the stack, while the Grief trigger is trying to resolve, and I think that's what Nazareno was trying to respond to. And at that point, Charlotte's Agent is not a legal target for the Solitude trigger, but let's see if that was actually the case. It looks like the players are backing up here.
yeah.
So that's the advantage of having experienced players in the booth.
Yeah, just so many Magic Online doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but as Chat has pointed out, we're rebound. You're gonna be able to exile the Charlotte's the next turn.
That is
You're
true.
gonna get the job. You're gonna get the goal. It's just we're on stream. You know how Chat reacts to players making mistakes. So
Yep.
let's make sure that all the things should go right.
Yeah.
Okay. They handled the stack in a proper way. Solitude exiles the Charlotte's in the next upkeep, and it's all good.
Yep. So what's the card next to Solitude here?
It's a Spirited Companion, basically a
The
Elvish
Visionary?
but it's an enchantment.
Yeah, the dog.
So now you see a race between the two players.
Yep.
5/5 versus 3/2 lifelink and 1/1. Ooh, that's a Stoneforge Mystic.
Stoneforge Missy, and thank you for telling me. Do you prefer these artworks? I know you kind of care about how your cards look. What do you prefer? Like for a modern deck?
I don't know. I know Nazat loves weird art, even
Yeah.
on Magic Online, because I've played against him a couple of times.
Yeah.
I personally think that Magic these days gives you a lot of ways to spend your money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And
A lot of
if
ways to spend
you're
your money.
up to the task of spending money on your Magic cards, it's fine. You get the option.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Am I happy if my opponent plays all these cards? Not really. I prefer if they play like
Yeah.
a normal deck.
Exactly.
Like is that, you know what that card is?
Oh, let me.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I think it's the mall equipment. No,
that's
it's not.
Lion Sash.
Is that Lion Sash?
That's Lion
Okay, I
Sash.
could have guessed it.
Another weird art from Neon Dynasty.
Okay, but at least it's like has like the mane of a lion. I should
Yeah.
have.
And Lion Sash is excellent against Living End.
It really is, especially in this scenario where the Living End deck is clearly like slowed down.
And also Nazart has in hand Solitude, so he can go Solitude, pitch Lion Sash if that happens. Yep.
Cycling Architects of Will. I do know the Living End cards though.
That's a Waker of Waves. That's very large.
Yeah.
But the problem with Waker of Waves is that it doesn't have X proof.
It doesn't, so it's not safe against Solitude.
Exactly. The board state, just to explain a little bit, there's a Turak revealed, but that's in hand.
Yep. The Turek is a
And
reveal
there's,
card, just good sportsmanship to keep it revealed.
Yeah, Spirit Companion is in the exile zone. So that's a little bit of a
Yep.
weird placement of cards, but it's our job to tell you exactly.
Yep.
On the other side, we see the classic 2 piles for your graveyard.
Yep.
One is the creature and one is the junk.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen that before. And then the ones like turn sideways, that's the exile.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was the easy one.
That's the only easy part of this board state.
Solitude feels quite good against Living End. Well, I agree.
It is not amazing against the X-proof guys. There's River Striped, River Winder, and Colossal Sky Turtle.
Yep.
But of course, it's amazing against Whale and Grief, as we saw.
Yep. Yeah, I always like playing against Living End back in the day, like finding ways with like Ravager or Sakura Tribelder to like circumvent the Living End.
The aspect of the game definitely strange. Okay. I went down to see the players and I recognized Philip. I actually met him in Berlin.
Okay.
Last week I've been there. He was playing a different deck.
Okay, cool.
So he changed the deck
master
for this
of
event.
More trades than one.
Yep.
That's cool.
3 mana, is that a Charlotte's
Another Charlotte's Agent.
Agent? And now Nazart, I told you, he has Solitude in hand.
Yep.
So he can once again cast Solitude. All right, they're making sure that the Charlotte's doesn't.
Yeah, that's a
doesn't
good
come
way
into
to
play.
show us that they they want to do things properly.
Yeah. We see the Sunken Ruins, useful to cast your Grief. And then pretty stock list at the end. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't really get too wrong building your living end deck. The deck list has been like that since Grief came out. And
Yeah, and then just some small adjustments in the like amount of new cyclers, like more than one mana cyclers.
The
more
big changes are Boseiju, Otawara, so they're
Yeah.
in the land section. Then there should be one Colossal Sky Turtle.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like Solitude is coming down. Exiling Solitude, wow. To gain 3 life, interesting.
Yeah, that's like free, right?
That's free, but now you don't have a Solitude anymore in your graveyard. So if there has to be a third living end, for example,
Oh, it makes
Then
the
you're-
next one worse.
then you're not
Okay.
gonna have a Solitude in your
Okay,
graveyard.
yeah. So it depends how.
Yeah, so Nazar decided to gain 3 life instead of 1, but giving up on the third Solitude, which overall could be fine.
Yeah, but you're definitely right. It's a choice.
Okay, 2 Architects of Will are coming in. They will make sure that, like Portent, basically. So
Yep.
looking at both players,
Yep.
top 3, and rearranging them.
Definitely a card you can target both players with, but most of the time, I assume you target your opponent.
Yeah. And now the Will gets exiled. That's a lot of life. Look at Philip. He's a 25. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a cool thing about the Sunken Ruins in Philip's mana base is you can suspend Living End with it.
Yeah. That is the 4th living end. Remember, Philip plays 4 living end.
Yep.
1 is exiled, and 2 of them are in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's a good point. So one left.
1 left and it's at the top of the deck because he saw it with.
Yeah.
Oh wow, a Stoneforge Mystic from the top, and that's gonna
like
be
that's a good draw when you're stuck.
super good because Philip wants to erase, and surely he has a 3 rate which has Swamp Walk, but at the same time, maybe Nazard has a Batterskull here to win the race.
There is a Batterskull in the list.
There is, and there it is.
There it is.
There it is. That's a Double Master Extended Art promo, together with a Double Master Stoneforge Mystic promo.
Yeah,
It's a nice combination.
it really is. He,
A lot of dedications to build this deck, huh?
you would really have to like love the archetype, play it over an extended time, because if it's just for one weekend, it's very excessive.
Okay, attack with all. The Batterskull, of course, is in hand together
Yep.
with the Turak.
So I guess
Blocking a 3/3, so that's gonna lose 5 life.
yeah, negating the damage from the other architect, and then taking 5 from Street Wraith plus Charlotte's Agent.
It was very crucial that Nazareno took Lion Sash with Stoneforge few turns ago, because evoking that Solitude was so important.
Yep. Yeah, so tutoring for a white card.
Yep.
Yep.
And now the Batterskull is gonna be so good.
Batterskull is ready here to play defense and offense.
Yes, exactly. The stream rate does have, as we said, ooh. I mean, what are the answers to do with the germ? There's 1 Sky Turtle, that's it.
I am not sure if this deck plays any Brazen Borrowers.
Subtlety doesn't work, Force of Negation doesn't work.
Yep.
Okay, there it is. Violent Outburst. Ooh, Living End in hand? That's weird.
So the
Because he goes Sky Turtle and put the Living End in his hand. But that one
Okay.
doesn't have any use. I mean, Grief, I guess, but...
or suspended and wait a lot of
the-
turns.
Yeah, but you need double black.
Yeah, Sunken Ruins.
Yeah, but the outburst just giving +1/+0 could be relevant.
I agree. So that's actually super. I mean, it's some way to get rid of the germ. To
Yeah,
make sure your 3/3 is good.
maybe in this game Philip was a little bit too rush with the first living end.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have waited a little bit more.
Yeah, I
Because
think-
it feels like now Nazareno, despite getting living end twice, he's able to actually be finding their
Yeah.
race with the Batterskull.
Yeah, so thanks to Solitude and Stoneforge Mystic, this is still a very, very... This game is up for grabs, basically.
Yeah, the 3 silent clearing are expensive though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So that you can Nazareno
let's
can
see.
cast that Turak as a 4/3,
Yeah.
but he's gonna lose 3 life down to 5. And if Philip has 2 violent outbursts, wins the game. But we know it's not the case because he has a living end in hand
Yeah.
instead.
It reminds me of some of the old school games I casted yesterday with City of Brass, like multiple City of Brass.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. The second outburst would have actually won this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy that you wouldn't expect it. I guess that's not true because he's just losing 2 cards, so it doesn't matter.
So I'm curious to see if the text on Turok comes into play later, like with some cyclers.
Yeah. You have to remember it's not in automatic.
Okay, so
Okay, looks like the only card remaining is the Waker of Waves, which is actually pretty good. You can cast it next turn.
yeah.
No, he cycles it.
So is it a 7-mana card or 6?
7.
Yep,
But if you would have drawn a 4/4, but still, that's like a reasonable plan.
definitely. Turok grows.
Nazareno next turn can also equip the Bada Skull onto the Turak.
That's also a cool play.
Yeah, Turak grows, so Nazareno remembered about that.
Yeah, it's perfect. So question here: both players the 3-0. I would guess so.
Yes. So we picked them. It was table 5.
Yep.
Table 5, Living End versus Black White Grief. All right. The Shadow, the Swamp Walk, super relevant here. 4 mana, Creator of Mysteries. Whenever there's a cycling, you're gonna scry 1.
Yep.
Okay, that's a 5th land. And actually,
So what do you want to do with this Better Skull?
I was thinking about to move the Bada Skull, but you can't.
Your life total doesn't allow
because you have
for
the
it.
3 silent clearing.
3
game on
pain
it.
lands. Yeah.
Okay.
Getting rid of 1 makes sense. See if you can find a cheap play.
Yeah, this is almost. If I'm not mistaken, Nazareno drew a Solitude. So if he gets a white card,
Ooh,
okay, not a
yeah.
land.
So-
No. You already played a land. Did he? You played, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Actually, yeah, I think so too. Okay, looks like the game is over anyway, but I think Andrea's definitely right. The black-white player already played a land, so
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
2 lands.
It's okay. It's okay. He realized it and conceded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the handshake after game 1. It's like Reed Duke on Magic Online. He always writes GG after 1 game.
Oh, there was an handshake. I
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, so
Good game.
that kind of reminds me of playing against Reed Duke online. It's just kind of cool. I don't do it myself, but
This was honestly a super cool game. Like,
Yeah.
Living End deck did its thing, Grief and Living End on turn 3, but it was a tiny Living End, and
Yep.
the Solitude was so annoying for the Living End player. The 2 Solitude and
Yep.
the Stoneforge off the top for the Bada Skull. Really cool game.
yeah, it really was.
Honestly, I think that Philip won because he cycled that whale. So maybe I wouldn't have done it myself.
You cycled which card?
but the 7/7 whale.
Oh, okay, the whale. Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that game was once. Yeah, as we talked about, the impact of the first living end wasn't that good, and sometimes it can be complicated to win from that spot. But he got the job done thanks to Swamp Walk and a little help from some pain lands, I guess.
Swamp Walk was so real. I mean, every time comes up, it's always
Yep.
like this, like Swamp Walk. It's never relevant until it is. And
Yep.
Grixis Shadow, for example,
Oh.
loses to straight rate all the time.
Yeah.
From Living End because it's
But yeah, drawing 3 silent clearing
Yeah.
doesn't help in a
I
in a
mean-
race.
when you play 4, you open yourself the option to draw multiple.
Definitely.
How many players are there? There's 212 player. It's a 2-day event. We are in Malmo, Sweden. Event organized by Tier 1 Con, which is a Danish organizer.
Yep. So we're having a good time, and we're almost half through day 1. The setup for today is 8 rounds of Swiss. Then we will have a cut to day 2. The cut will be 5 and 3, so around like 75 players will return for tomorrow to play the 4 remaining rounds, and then we have the top 8. So I think the record for top 8 is like, let me count the rounds, like 9 and 3 should be live for top 8. So whoever like moves on from today will be live for top 8 for tomorrow. So I think we made a good setup for.
A nice event to watch. We're gonna be covering every match. It's gonna be me, Andreas, and Simon Nielsen.
Yep.
We're gonna be
Taking turns.
commentating the whole event. We have a future match area with 2 matches. Whenever this one finishes, we have the backup one.
Yep.
And we have the deck list. We're trying to make it as professional as possible.
I think we're trying to do our best job here. So we'll also happily try and help you guys out in the chat if you have any questions or any feedback. 212 players.
Yep.
So we'll try our best to
Yeah.
guide you through the weekend. An awesome weekend of modern
See
magic.
a Mewtwo token over there.
Yeah, I love Pokemon. So
A very good friend of mine just tattooed a big Mewtwo on the.
okay.
on the-
I don't love it that much.
On the what's it called? On the arm.
Yeah, on the like
Yeah.
Biceps?
So-
yeah, wow, okay, I don't love
Maybe
it that much.
maybe Philip among all these tattoos is new too over
Oh,
there.
maybe. I'm gonna look to
Yeah.
find a Pokemon
He's
tattoo.
also Philip is also very very big, so maybe he has space for more.
Right.
He has more space
Yeah.
for tattoos.
Any famous MCGO players or streamers?
So we've seen Christopher Larson earlier
Yeah.
On camera.
Yeah, a big
Christopher Larson.
Teamer Rhinos.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Speaking of huge people,
yeah,
he's also a
exactly.
huge man.
Yeah. And he used to be one of the best
Yeah, I would say so.
player during his prime time, which
Yep.
was
Definitely.
before the MPO kicked them all off.
Yeah, but he was like one pro punch short. He was like 34th or something on the list.
Yeah,
so
we were
brutal.
talking about it.
So brutal
Yeah,
cutoff.
it was brutal, but it was very nice to be around. And
Yeah.
anyway, the players are starting, so let's go. Let's head down to the
Yeah.
match. Let's click the magic button, and boom, we see Nazareno Mulligan in a hand. Oh, we haven't talked too much about the cyber choice.
Yeah, we should probably have a look. How can these
So
players
Nazareno
upgrade?
has a lot of cards, starting with
Yep.
2 Chunks of the Void and 2 Dranith Magistrate. Both of these cards will make so that Philip cannot make his plan.
Right.
He also has 2 Necromancia, which can name Living End.
Okay.
Efficient on the play.
Yeah.
'cause
Can be
costs
too
3
slow on the
mana,
draw.
But
Yeah.
can be too slow on the draw. He also has 2 Sanctifier in deck,
That's a lot of stuff.
which is only good against Grief and the Architects of Will.
Okay, so it's only black and red creatures, right?
Yep.
Oh, black and red cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of small upgrades, but I'm curious
Yeah.
what you want to take out. Maybe you just want to focus less on cards like
Grief Ephemerate, maybe.
yeah, and Charming
Yeah.
Prince and stuff like that.
One of the strengths of Living End among the many is that is a deck that keeps 7 a lot. It's a super consistent deck.
Yep.
You really don't need very much.
Yeah, you're right. Lots of combination of cards will
Yeah.
be just fine opening.
Yeah, so you just keep 7, and a deck where you can keep 7 so reliably is just such a good deck.
Yeah, that's just a built-in strength of the deck for sure. Even just if you have 3 lands, it's fine. If you have 1 land, sometimes it's also fine.
That's a Grief.
Yeah, turn 1.
Ooh, look at that Dranith Magistrate. So Dranith Magistrate says, the opponent
Yeah.
cannot play cards other than
With mana.
from
I guess.
hand, I think.
Yeah, it's
Or with mana, yeah, something like that. But you can't cascade anything.
right. So the important part is it interacts well with opposing cascade cards.
Yeah, originally made to stop the companion mechanic.
Oh.
Not very successful.
Right. It didn't really do a good job there. Right.
All right, is there another Grief?
That's
It
also
looks like that. There's a Grief and a Stray Rate at the bottom. But I think Nazareno hand is just so bad that
Yeah.
that Philip doesn't
So
care.
speaking of the keeping a one-lander, it. Oh, okay. Did he? I thought it was turn 2 that he missed his land drop.
No. He was just thinking whether to go for Grief. on
Oh,
turn
okay.
one.
Perfect.
There's an Urborg in play, and Urborg means that Philip can Arcast Grief
Yeah.
despite not having black mana.
That is definitely a good point. So let's see if either player will take advantage of that later on. Sometimes you can save some life points to keeping
Yeah, I mean,
like
we
fetches in
see
play.
Turak in end and the plains, so the Urborg helps that way.
Yep.
Okay, so there's well, it's turn 2, so we know that Living End doesn't come down at this time.
Not yet.
Let's see. A hand is. What's the green card? Is that Force of Vigor? Maybe.
There.
Ooh, from the top. the
another
second
Magistrate
copy
here.
Of the Magistrate. Ay.
So I wonder. Let me just check for answers here.
There's one Colossal Sky Turtle.
Okay.
And,
One Otawara.
One Otawara.
No, two. 2 copies actually.
Two
Yep.
Otawara. But yeah, what a draw. Like,
But aside from that, it's actually very tough for this
Wow.
specific living end deck to beat
Yeah.
disruptive creatures.
yeah, if it wasn't for Magistrate right now, I think that Philip would have just closed the game next turn because he
Yep.
had Outburst in hand.
3rd land and Cascade. Yeah, Force of Negation doesn't do much against creatures. Yeah, this is gonna be tough for the living end deck.
Yeah, he just, moves, shakes the hand and be like, sure, that's your... Oh, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for that 3rd land, Outburst, I reanimate my Grief, my 2 Grief, large Whale.
Yep.
I mean, it's game over.
At that
100%.
point, it's 100% game
That's
over.
the strength of Living End. It's not
Yep.
2 Rhinos that you can... kill or
Yep.
just play.
Yeah.
bottom.
So left
just-
undisrupted. It's just better, more impactful.
Yeah. Ooh,
That's a
There's
good
a-
interaction here.
but I don't even. Ooh, Necromancy. I think that's force negation though.
Yeah, that'll probably just get forced because Philip's way back into this game involves. Okay. I'll take it back.
I guess what Phillips thinks right now is I have literally no way to get rid of the Dranis Magistrate.
Okay.
I mean, there is. We mentioned a couple of cards, Otawara and
Yeah.
the other thing, but the Nazart has 2 Ephemerate. So
there's a
he's
higher
going to be able
chance.
to protect it. So basically, what Philip is saying is, I give up my Living End plan,
Yep.
and I only want to Arcast my card. So I'm going to plan on Arcasting this Grief that I have in hand.
Yep.
I'm going to plan to Arcast Decorator of Mysteries, and yeah.
That's a very, very good point. That's actually the choice he has to make. Do I think I can get through Nazareno's protection and get rid of the Magistrate, or do I like go to plan B and hardcast my creatures? And I
Yeah.
think this is correct.
Yep. So there's only 3 Living Ends, so one must have been sideboarded out.
Yeah, keeps looking.
And Necromancia will put a token into play,
Yeah.
a zombie token into play, I believe.
I think so too. A 2/2, right?
Yeah, let's see if they have it.
Because Philip had one in hand, so you get a 2/2 for each copy of the name card in hand. Here we see an attack for 1. Might as well get in for a single point of damage when the coast is clear. But maybe the fix is in here, so there's actually a blocker, so the 1/3 is not going to attack.
Yep. Why didn't he play Outburst in response? Because there's a very important card into play that is Dranith Magistrate that stops the Living End coming off from the stack.
Yep.
And that's a 2/2 zombie. There it is.
There's the 2/2 zombie, so no point in attacking with the 1/3. So, yep, everything is in order.
Okay, looks like an attack with the 2/2 zombie. Because if Nazareno blocked, we could have gone Outburst. Not that the Dranith Magistrate does much anymore.
Right,
As,
because now all the living ends are
Yeah,
gone.
the Living
Okay.
End are exiled.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't know if, again, yeah, maybe, yeah, just not that much that he can cast.
Yep.
Yep. Pass back and forth. There is, ooh, look at that. 2 mana blink your zombie.
Well, I mean, it works in this scrappy game of small creatures trying to get there. This
Yeah.
is like old school yesterday, with like small creatures dealing small amounts of damage.
It's the 4th land. It's an Agadim's Awakening. So that's going to come into play untapped for 3 damage and cast that to. Never mind.
Which card did you think was getting cast?
Isn't that a Turak in end? Or is that a Sword of Fire and Ice?
I think it's Sword of Fire and Ice, yeah.
Oh, never mind then. Okay. Well, good. No Turak.
No black mana symbols in the casting cost on that one. So, yeah, as you said, the Ephemerates are protecting the Magistrate, but what is the point of the Magistrate at this point?
No, nothing really. Before, it would have been like,
Yeah,
you know, good.
crucial
because-
to
yeah.
keep it around, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that card got...
We see the Otawara. Strange that he's not casting it, as that would be important to cast the Grief. I think that Philip forgot about the Urborg.
It is a possibility that he just only like thinks about his own like Sunken Ruins for black mana and doesn't realize that Urborg does the same.
Yeah, now he's just gonna show the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, doesn't even show it. No, but like that's a big deal. You know, not realizing the Urborg in play.
Yep.
It's huge because he could have cast both that Grief and that Architects of Will.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. And since his name of the game now is like Plan B is casting those creatures, it's actually important resources getting lost here.
Yeah, Nazareno isn't really doing anything. So a 3/2 menace and a 3/3 that stacks your deck would have been huge there.
Yeah. Doesn't even bother with the attack. Are you sure it's Otawara, that card?
Yeah.
It can't be a subtlety?
I think it's Otawara, yes.
Okay.
All right, so that's a Molecule Rebirth. They're just doing so little.
Yeah, they
Somebody walks in with a limited deck. I think beats them
yeah,
both.
definitely. Any good like draft deck would stand a chance against this one. Actually,
Yeah.
These two decks are just. But that's also the cool thing about Magic, right? Some matchups are just about like negating your opponent's plan and then just get there with super scrappy damage.
Yeah, I mean, if you draw all of these Ephemerates and Molecule Rebirth, you don't draw Grief. Ooh, Mull the Sky Cleave. That
Yeah.
can get Force of Vigor. Finally, a Force of Vigor target.
They-
Or even a Force of Negation.
Force of Negation, we knew about the second copy. That makes sense. So that card should be in exile. Yeah, okay. They make the fix. Hey, is this standard? It isn't. This is modern, but I do agree that these decks are like on plan B right now.
Yeah, the Curator of Mysteries came down. Oh, finally a Grief. Maybe too late, but finally a Grief.
Yep. Grief, getting to pick the first card,
Yep.
and then
Bad combat trick. 3/3 that. What's going on there? No, I think he should have played the Ephemerate, not the Bottaskull. Isn't that a Bottaskull? Oh yeah.
so he's playing versions that he can't even recognize. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I think the cards look pretty similar, but
Yeah.
that was just funny that
Yeah.
we spotted it as a Batterskull. That was
Yeah.
super awesome.
All right, Ephemerate keeps targeting the Grief, although the Grief isn't able to attack now.
Right now, it's summoning Sig again. Gets to pick off one more card.
But the Bottaskull comes in, but there's a Notawara in hand, which is very relevant here,
Yep.
since it's gonna let the Curator of Mysteries. Actually, now that he discarded a card with Grief, Philip could have scried one because of the Curator of Mysteries. Curator says when you discard or cycle.
Discard or cycle. So yeah, it's kind of like Turok. It works like in multiple ways.
Ooh, Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see. There's Lion Sash, but Lion Sash doesn't gain any
Yeah,
life.
Lion Sash is
Doesn't gain any
also-
life. It's not Stoneforge. It's not Scavenging Goose.
Right, but yeah, that's not relevant because the graveyard is not relevant anymore, right?
Yeah. So now we can get. So we can't get Sword. We can't get
Batterskull.
Batterskull.
So does this deck have?
I mean, there's Lion
Kaldra?
Sash. Kaldra is in the main deck. We're game 2 now, so I don't know. It doesn't seem that good against
Yeah,
Living End, so maybe it took it out.
I can see that.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, the big one.
Kaldra complete.
Yep.
Thankfully, this alternative art isn't that different.
That's
so
very similar to the normal one.
It's a sketched version.
Okay. Sketched version.
Sketched.
Yeah, I see why you would say that.
Yeah. I actually have that one in my cube.
Okay.
That one for
Do you prefer it or it's random?
I opened it, so
Yeah,
it was in
okay.
the cube.
So that's why you prefer it.
Yeah.
It's just that's what you had handy.
Okay, and Grief can't attack because it just got ephemerated.
On upkeep, yeah.
Alright. That one puts Nazareno down to 4.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, I mean...
really so the decision Philip made multiple turns ago about going into plan B and not like living the dream with Living End, it's starting to pay off.
Yep. So the Grief, that one, sure, not even bother scrying. Sorry, don't even bother cycling. No, re.
Scrying, right?
Also cycling, you could cycle in response. Maybe you draw land and then the Grief doesn't discard anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good play.
Yeah. Now, Nazareno is just thinking, how do I win this game? Because I'm
That's
at
a
4
good
life,
question.
staring off a flyer without any life linker. Mm-hmm. Whoop. Draw a land.
Yeah.
Kaldra complete is a 5/5, but Philip has a bounce spell card in hand.
Yeah, and he knows about the Otawara, right?
Ooh, is that a Solitude? He reveals it, but he doesn't have any white card in hand.
Okay.
He's thinking maybe if I got a
Only
Lion
4.
Sash, I could have find a pitch.
That's a good
Oh no, I think what he's saying is if I kept the Ephemerate, I
Right.
could have been able to play
So,
this card.
Yeah, the Ephemerate wasn't very impactful at the time, so maybe he should have thought about Solitude is one of my only like ways to prolong this game. I should probably keep a white card.
Yeah,
Yeah, this looks like
yeah, I think there's an handshake coming in. He's just explaining what could have done, what could have happened.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure that's game over for this match.
that's an handshake.
Yeah,
Philip wins
there's
2-0.
the handshake.
Such a weird game, right?
Yeah, really
like,
was.
like Phil was going to win, and then the magistrate from the top, and then just the B plan, and leaving against
Yeah,
good enough.
that was kind of confusing, very back and forth. But I mean, I liked
Yeah.
it. I think it's like interesting. Those games are definitely worth watching. I mean, when Living End just does its thing, it's the games are very simple, but these are the games where you really have to dig deep and find a solution to a unique problem, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, definitely showed the power of Living End. That's a very good deck, one of the best deck when it works.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't work, still can cast some 4/4 flyer.
When it doesn't work, you'll get questions in the chat about, is this standard?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very like high variance, high ceiling,
Yeah.
low floor, I guess you can call it.
Do we have another